to mute so we don't have echoes. Good afternoon. Thank you everyone that are here, and I would like to wish everyone welcome, and also to my name is Ana Barbara. I am an analyst about the food systems, and I would like to thank everyone that have been joining us, and also about the partnerships that are involved in our movement, and also with the work that we do in Africa, and also Juliana, Francini, and Eduarda and Thais that are also with us. This event is a result of the collaboration between two projects, the eClay, SAMS, and this is where we act, and we do have complementary exercises, and we have also a free food links, which is supported by the EU. And also in South America, we do have participation in the partnerships, and also we do talk about all the impacts that are happening, and also we have the exchange of experiences. We also have the initiative that does involve the strengthening of those works done in the cities, and it's a little bit too fast. We also have the collaboration of work that is being done in the urban centers, and that will make obviously their work more resilient. Now we have these projects and being done, and we would like to thank everyone that is from those cities that are now here in this webinar, and we also would like to thank their collaboration in the partnership, and we are actually expressing not only the desire to continue the exchange of our experiences, and also to support the developing means, and also to share the common beliefs, and also to share our solution and decision making. Now we would like to speak about what is being done in a city of Barcarena, and we also have also the participation of a representative of the city of Kisumu, if I'm not mistaken, and we will then afterwards have a session to exchange dialogue about these two cities and the other cities that are represented here in the webinar. And I actually will wish now that we all have a very good moment, and also I'm going to ask now Juliana to give us the welcoming Yes, hello there, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon for those that are here in Africa and in Brazil. And today is a very good day, full of joy, because we have been now rehearsing this participation, this exercise that we are looking at the food systems exercises, and through the Lupa lens. And now I would like to ask your patience that also we do have a monthly meeting, and we have now decided to make this meeting happen, and we do have now the challenge of languages, but now we are trying to find the best solution, and we decided to go for the interpretation services, because we know that we have to make ourselves understood by our friends in Africa. But I would like to really let you be comfortable in the participation. You're welcome to put your comments and your contributions in the chat. And should you have a question, you're also welcome to write it down on the chat. And I would like also to thank colleagues from Africa, from AfriFood Links, that are helping on this operational side of things. And now I would like to speak a little bit about the actions and activities of LUPA, which is a continuous program and that we do go around Brazil to many cities since 2021 for the past 5 years. We can count now about 60 to 70 cities, and we have been obviously exchanging experiencing our experiences and also making the sharing of how we go about dealing the different systems. We do have the plan of the municipal food system, and this is a strategy that we have been working on, and this is how we use a specific term to address to that. And we have been working with certain agendas that does cover the aspect of the social growing. I'm going to ask for those that do have their mics open to mute them. Thank you so much. So, Carrie, so now we have a national network which encompasses all these cities, and this way we are able to do exchange. And now with the continent of Africa participating, we would like also to increase that relationship and allow this communication to go even deeper, and also to learn with each other. And I would like now to thank everyone to be participating in this webinar today. I would like now to pass the word to ICLEI Africa, and I believe it's Sine that's going to have the word now. Sine?
Thank you so much, Juliana, for those opening remarks, and greetings to everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us today in this webinar. This is the second series of webinars that we are co-hosting with SAMS and LUPA. We had one earlier this year that took place in May, and this one focused on the Brazilian framework for multi-level governance. So we are really excited for this continued collaboration and just to see what comes out of today's dialogue, which is going to be focusing on local food systems and food cultures. So the Network Cities platform is part of the AfriFood Links project, and I'll share the link of the AfriFood Links webpage that you can just have a look of what the project is all about. But the biggest aim for Network Cities is just creating a space for exchange, for learning, for collaboration. And so our partnership with LUPA and SAMS is really a great example of this vision being in action. So thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really excited to hear what's going to emerge from today's conversation. I'll pass it over to Anna, who's our moderator for today's session. Thank you, Anna.
Yes, so we will continue with the program for today. I'm going to ask Rose Achieng to she has been busy with the coordination in Kenya alongside AfriFood Links, and she has been participating in the formulation of this food systems. And she has been busy since 2019 to 2023 in the Kenya country, and she has been responsible for the distribution of foods in the area. And the focus point is that the foods are distributed, and this is part of her work. And now, Rose, I'm going to give you the floor. You have 15 to 18 minutes. Thank you, Rose. Please switch on your mic. Rose, can you please switch on? Yes.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, after the introductions now, kindly allow me just to go straight to my presentations. And I love the way you've introduced me. Thank you. So I'm going to talk about cities strengthening local food systems and culture. And most of the experiences I'm going to talk about is what we have in Kisumu, Kenya. So I actually thought of beginning with the slogan. And this kind of slogan would talk or put much emphasis. Oh my God. Are you seeing it?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, let me go back. Let me just go back. Okay, yeah. You can see it now. You can now see it. Okay. Oh, what next? Because your screen sharing, it's on. Share. Okay, you can now see it. It's okay. The slogan, eh? Okay, and you see the first one? Okay, then now the slogan, okay. So I can continue. Is okay? All right. So the slogan is just stressing about we grow what we eat and we eat what we grow. And the reason why I came up with this is that we need to start with the children, like the school-going children, to appreciate the foods that are culturally or locally produced for them to accept. And sometimes even us, we say, we ate it this way. That means, I didn't want to say, but that means the way my mother or my grandmother prepared it. And it's the only way we can introduce young people to the local or the cultural foods that we have. So those slogans, if they can ring in people's minds, then we'll be able to promote locally produced foods or the cultural foods around. So cities around the world are now increasingly recognizing the important link between food, the culture, and the health issues, like we all know, and they are developing policies and initiatives that support local food systems and promoting healthy, culturally, and appropriate diets. If you go now to the third slide, it's now talking how cities are taking action, because already we've known issues of health versus other foods that are not actually accepted. So one of the ways that cities are taking action is supporting local food systems. And this is happening in Kenya, in Kisumu, through our multi-sectoral platforms. Many cities encourage various technologies that we know, or that we usually see around to promote urban and peri-urban agriculture. I call it in short, UPAP. And we also have modern farmers markets where these kinds of foods are sold, or they are taken to be sold. And that way, the way they are presented or preserved for people to get them in the best state. And also local food procurement that are affordable to the people of all cadres. The food needs to be affordable to everybody. So in Kisumu County, strategically cited was comprehensive UPAP demo farm with all possible exotic and local vegetables and herbs. That one enables people to see the technologies that you can have to produce your own food or the safe foods. And it also promotes acceptability of the kind of vegetables and herbs that are available. So we saw the same in Windhoek, the Kokuna farm, where demonstrations were being done on such, and people were going there to learn. So integrating local agriculture with the public health goals. So in Kisumu, we have also mobile food vendors, and they are licensed to sell fresh fruits and even vegetables within. And not only that, currently there is one that we visited with the Joust team last week, and we saw very nice things. We saw like Uji Power, although in Namibia we also saw that, but this one now people hawk them around where people can buy them. They are safe and healthy. So it's only promoting the local food. The preparation utensils, they are all local, really exciting. The second one is celebrating and preserving food cultures. Sometimes it is impressive to see that through the promotion of local foods, policies and initiatives within Kisumu, we are promoting upcoming eateries that are doing local foods, and in some cases, cooked and served in the traditional dishes like I've mentioned. And it was in the old days that we saw those, but now it's actually diminishing. So when people do them now, through the policies and the strategies we are talking about, we are actually promoting the healthy ways of eating. And I feel that this keeps and reminds us of the ancient cultures that promoted healthy eating. Now, in a draft paper on nutrition that we have, there have been an advocacy communication strategy messages that are in short forms and shouting about promotion of healthy foods, and even the strategies and the policies that supports them. We have agri-nutrition strategy and the food system strategies that is well known for Kisumu County. Yeah, I participated in coming up with this and even the launch. Then under that, we still have multicultural food hubs, which accelerate the culinary traditions of the immigrant communities while promoting health education about these diets. We have like restaurants that are promoting that just the Indian dishes. So if the immigrants are around, some certain designated restaurants are allowed to promote these foods. And this is because of the strategies and the policies and the drafts that are there. And also we incorporate traditional dishes into public programs and nutrition campaigns, just to strengthen cultural identity and also to improve health. The third one is on schools and institutional food policies. In the early childhood department, the ECD, we have an act and regulation that is ongoing, and it has the cultural food component. But this is also anchored on our agri-nutrition and food system strategy. The food system is just everything about food. It helped cities reforming food served in public institutions like schools and public health facilities. Private school meals are being redesigned with locally sourced ingredients and vegetarian options offered to those deserving. Like this is where now children would be able to grow, e.g. the local vegetables. If you look at the picture at my introductory, the first slide, the vegetable you see there, that's a local one. So these children will be able to see them, appreciate, and even when prepared at home, there's no reason why they shouldn't take it. So in my old days, while in a primary school, we had we have some small fish that people don't like. But because we were introduced to these foods in school when we were young, we really appreciate it, and it's so nutritious, including the cowpea leaves vegetables. So that's how these food cultures can be appreciated in the policies and the legal documents. The fourth one is tackling food waste and sustainability. Reducing food waste improves food security and the environmental health. In the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact supports policies that reduce food waste. And we were lucky in Kisumu. We were sponsored by FAO, through which we signed the food pact. I think we did it before Chef Shoen, as it's on my slide. And we realized that a lot of food was going into waste, and that now improves access to healthy food. We witnessed the one that was being signed in Chef Shoen this year, early last year when we were there in Morocco. So Kisumu also did the same earlier. So some countries such as Seoul also implements strict food waste separation and imposing laws, promoting a more sustainable food systems. So through the multi-sectoral platform, this needs to be promoted. And it can only be achieved when multi-sectoral platform is strong. Then we have equitable access to healthy food. Cities around the world are increasingly recognizing the power of local food systems and cultural food practices to improve public health, environmental sustainability, social and social equity. So the social equity would be taking care of the special cadres of people like the aged, maybe the disabled people. So our national government has the social fund that offers some token to the aged in acquiring farm inputs, and this helps in checking the diets and also the surplus to either take care of their health insurance. We have partners helping in local food promotions through providing and displaying of local seeds. Aligning public food procurement, like the food meals, with sustainable and culturally appropriate food choices is another one. And the sixth one is on the local government innovations. A scoping review of urban food policies found that cities are using public procurement to serve healthier meals in schools and hospitals, regulating ultra-processed foods and promoting traditional diets, and encouraging community gardens and food education programs. Now in Kisumu, just before the agri-nutrition strategy, we were out campaigning for the meals and diets served to patients in public hospitals. And this far, there is a great change and improvement. I have the 7th point, cultural inclusion and food citizenship. Under here, while many promote local and sustainable food, they often overlook the contributions of immigrant communities. Why do we say so? If maybe I come to maybe South Africa and I don't see what I can eat for the days that I'm there, it becomes all kinds of dishes to be served. Then how city exchanges have offered valuable insights into forming and strengthening multi-stakeholder platforms. During our visit, we shared how they were going to integrate ecosystem-based approaches to multi-sectorial platforms. And this was to balance growth with the environmental sustainability. The environment needs just to be okay for the healthy foods to be produced. And so legal documents needs to be there, like on the environmental issues. So a key takeaway was the importance of aligning sectorial policies and closing regulatory gaps to make MSP more effective and inclusive. This is what cities are also encouraged to do. Under nutrition-focused MSP, Kisumu, Kenya, for porridge, for the wheat, and even for what we call ugali. Those who have come to Kenya, ugali is a maize that is made into like a cake, and we use it as a source of carbohydrate, or yeah. So these platforms evolve based on local needs, with strong emphasis on inclusive planning and monitoring. So one challenge highlighted was sustaining coordination at the local level. Coordination was not really nice, where implementation actually happens at the ground. And this challenge learned even in Kisumu. We've learned it in Kisumu, and there are no follow-ups. Like people need to be strict. If a donor it's for the government institute, and then you find that up to that time, there's usually no follow-ups. Kenya's experience with multi-stakeholder platform offers several valuable lessons, especially in the context of governance, service delivery, and sustainable development. And I would say that under the local ownership, it's so crucial. Effective MSP in Kisumu often emerge when local actors like the county government, the civil societies, and the CBOs take lead. But this ensures that the platforms are grounded in local realities and priorities rather than being donor-driven or overly centralized. So we need to learn from this point here, the local ownership that is crucial. Without it, these things come and they're just put in the shelves. And then we have the inclusivity that drives impact. Successful MSPs have been prioritized in inclusive participation. Especially you have women, you have youth, the marginalized groups. When you have them, yeah, there is hope of food security or climate resilience that have shown better results when they are actively engaged in diverse voices in planning and decision making. If they are not left behind, there would be nothing. And then under governance structures and clear roles and matters, they drive MSP, and they tend to have well-defined roles. And then also the responsibilities and decision-making process, and that helps avoid duplication. It also builds trust and ensures accountability among stakeholders. Once we have that accountability and binding the stakeholders, there is then the progress in the MSP. Without it, it grounds. Then we have the continuous need for capacity building. Platforms struggle with technical and institutional capacity. Ongoing training and mentorship and knowledge exchange, such as through City to City that we've been doing, through webinars, through physical participation, learning, or the regional forums have proven essential to strengthen MSPs over time. In Morocco, in Namibia, we were made to talk so much about it. And yeah, they're already doing something about it. And even online. So we have also data evidence. Once you do something, then they're supposed to be put online for people to see, even without us talking about it, without asking questions, you just go online and see. So without this kind of data, data built, credibility, then the information remains just with a few people. So how these lessons? Yes, just 2 more slides. So how can these lessons be applied to MSP? Applying them can set the foundation for platforms that are inclusive, sustainable, and genuinely impactful. So first, we could check local leadership. Instead of imposing people from outside to co-create the MSP, co-create the MSP with the local actors from day one. The day one you are starting, bring government, the county government, bring the CBOs, the local champions, and they would lead the way to buy long time in. And then key stakeholders mapping must also be done. The people you want to bring in, you need to be sure what are they doing? Are they transparent? Are they open? Once you do that, then there is ownership. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Rose. It was very good to know about other cities in this theme. Obviously, we have representatives of cities that are involved in the LUPA, and this will be very good for us later on to exchange information and experiences. And as we get to know now, we will carry on our work. Now, we will invite Edson Cardoso. He will be speaking about the city of Barcarena. He is qualified by the University of the Amazon region. He has also public management expertise, and he has been working in projects in the Pará state. And now he will be offering a presentation on the Barcarena city. And he's also a representative of the forum in the same city. So now I will let him speak. And Edson, you also have 15 to 18 minutes. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I would like to really thank Rose and tell her that how amazing your work is, and also letting individuals eat their traditional dishes, eat the food they love, and also to say that it is a great honor to put the city of Barcarena in the presentation, and also to let everybody know that we all do this very important job, which is to take food across to everyone. And obviously, with our efforts, we will do it in a better way. So now I'm going to try and be thorough in the presentation so you can actually gain information. So if we are talking about Barcarena, we are talking about a coastal city in the state of Pará, in the Amazon, and it's in Brazil, and it has 310 1,000 kilometers square and has 130,000 people. One of the specific highlights is that we do have a port, and we also have production of mining products, which actually comes through this city. And what I wanted to say is that we have an interchange of interest with people that come to town and comes through different businesses. And because we are in the Amazon, there are obviously challenges. And now we have to think about how are we going to get more exposure, because it has to be done via the rivers in the region. And obviously we have to make sure that we also have open access via the roads. So now if we take in consideration the river population, we do know that this is the highlights, and this is because they live here. They are obviously lands that belong to Mestre Vieira, and we do know that he's very well known across the world. We do have the notion of the Pineapple Festival, and we are in the Amazon, and we also have sport and leisure in the city. So now, if we speak a little bit more about the production of foods, we can't guarantee that there's more production available and ways of producing more foods. So we do have our fruit that is the main core of our commerce, which is the acai, and most of the world do know, and we will later on show it and share some recipes. Now, as we spoke about it before, we thought about what kind of future do we want in Barcarena. We made a decision, and we had the enactment of a law, and we decided that through the decrees that were created, we like this would open up the chance of actually enhancing the development in the area and giving people the chance of actually developing themselves in business. And we had here 3 of those PPAs, and I can say that since 2013 we've seen particular growth and increase of interest in our area. Another aspects that we know that we were very close to our realities and our challenges is obviously what we saw during the pandemic of COVID-19. Since we do have all these understanding of how the global warming happens and how the social inequalities and also the increase of hunger, we understood that this is the way that we had to make provision to actually look on how we were going to assist the families in Barcarena, and also how would we actually look after the city itself, and how we would be able to release the food kits that we had already created, and also what we call the food baskets, and how would we actually maintain the food security in town, in the city. So therefore, we saw the need of keeping the food basket programs guaranteed, and also to take care of the families in the social aspect when they were going through the pandemic phase. We are now going through this aspect of planning, because now we have the consequence of these changes. And we've seen also the need in those different cultures, and how can we make this structure permanent. And now in this slide, it shows that we went ahead in looking for partnerships, and we had also to look for ways that we could change in the way that we do our work. And so we had to see what cities that would also be participating with us, and we saw that we could actually bind ourselves to those interested, and how we could take consideration of climate. And also we went to look deeper into our planning, because we had to create now new strategies. We had to also see how the carbon footprint was going to be measured, how we could make cities more resilient, and also how we could see this mitigation happen, and how could we see the benefit of success to everyone. And obviously, we know that our cities are integrated via the river, the different rivers, and we had to think about that we had to be resistant, adaptable, and resilient. And obviously, we could not forget also the aspect of the human beings involved in this whole process. In this slide, we can see the governance aspects and all the legal structure. And we saw all these different points. We had to see how the domestic income would work. We had to think about the tradition that we would have to make sure that it would come together back into the families. We had to think about the protection of the social protection, and also the hospital access when regarding the health. We also were thinking about how are we going to guarantee that the food is going to be on the table for every family. We had to think about the creation of how are we going to create a pool of foods, and we were now investing the public capitals into that. And how could we also take care of this, the vulnerable elements of society. And also we did see that it was possible that we could actually make a municipal plan, which would then create what we call the food security and also the nutritional aspect of Barcarena. And that had also to do with the plan for the hospitals. So when we think now in our overall aspect, we think that everything comes down to the food systems, in how you actually deal with the fact that you need to consume food. So now, with that in mind, we had to think about how children ate and how would we get enough resources to make the food intake more nutritional, and how could we actually keep this compromise, this also to think about that we would not promote in what we would call now as industrial food preparation. So now we would also like to introduce through the cultural aspect of food systems the acai berry, which is also part of the consumption of the population that live near the rivers. So when we think about how are we going to strengthen all these points that are actually built within this structural aspect. So now we also thought about the vendors, the street vendors, how would they be able to offer food, fresh foods at an advantaged price, and how could we make sure that this product, this food product, could be done and the families and the society, individuals could come and have access to this fresh market. So now we had to think about how can we redo the thinking of all these aspects that in the past would be dangerous to share because we wouldn't have a safe place to share. So now that we are considering what we call public greenhouses, because of the change that happened through the climate change, we have to make use of those, creating safe area for the population to buy. One other thing that happened in the city of Barcarena was the acknowledgement of this notion that we have to guarantee the notion of public food systems, and that we would keep this close attention to keeping this very close to the center of our attention when we were talking and thinking about the food systems. And now I can say that we will welcome everyone that would like to participate in the food system strategy. And this will obviously take us further when we think about closing the gaps where there are no foods. Over here, we have a whole lot of places how we incremented the production of foods and how we included and how many people received food, and how the traditional way of eating and receiving food, and how this was actually compared to the amount that one family could afford in food intake and in buying the foods. And this would be promoting the social justice. This is also something that we saw how well we could actually provide for ourselves, and this would go even beyond the traditional systems. And we could also say that we have now so many more people that are now contributing to the what we call the family growers, also creating an increase on the offer of foods, and also looking at in the form of foods that we enjoy more. We also thought of looking at the income aspect. So if you saw on the graph, there was a very high peak of increase, and that was very possible to achieve again. In the slides, we see the new horizons that we have in mind, and also the objectives and aims. And this is about the increment of 100% of resources to the PMAA, which talks about the social protection, security, And we are also working on how we can make this more evident in the institutional part of PMAA. This would increase 50% of food that would be served in different events. And obviously, this would give an opportunity for people to buy other food from other surrounding areas that would benefit available, even though we would see the prices being reduced. But in any way, this would be a promotion of the agriculture in the area. I would also like to leave a message, which is written here in the last 4 phrases, which says, it's a poem, which means that it's an invite to carry on the good works. I'm going to show now a video of how all this work is done. I'm going to try and cast the video again. I need to get the volume together with the video. We will watch the video and then finish off. So the intention here is to show the distance that we have to face and where does our guy, the farmer, will collect the acai berry, and he here talks about how happy he is to get the acai berry, and he wished that he was able to harvest during the entire year. We have technicians like our engineers that help them to select the proper way in such a way that they will not destroy the possibility of replanting. We also have production of different types of bananas and also certain fishes. Here, when we get here, you can see the small towns. We have somebody called Batedor of acai berry who actually cleanses the berry, and we can see that it becomes crushed and there is a thick juice coming out of it, and this is the way that it is filtered and then goes in different containers to the school kids um, um, meals. This is a way that we keep our food culture and that people are being attended to in their preferred way. And that's how we have created this option of food service. And this is the end of our video, and I'm sure this way you can have an idea of our work in the Amazon region. Thank you, Edison, about your work. Thank you for sharing about your work in the Amazon. And I know that it has been immensely productive. And now we're going to go to our second half of our webinar. I'm going to ask Juliana now to consider both cities and this exchange of information. I'm also going to say that if you have any contribution or questions that you'd like to forward, you're welcome to write on the chat. And if we do have time, we will try and address them. And I'm going to ask now Juliana, which is the coordinator of the food for the future. And first, I would like to thank very much Rose and Edison for the sharing of your work and how the traditional dishes and foods, how they are being done, and how they offer different menus and how we can actually take and how we can see that the foods can complement each other. Firstly, I would like Rose to come on your camera. Are you there, Rose? I don't know if Rose have any questions at this point. And also, if you, Rose, would like to say something,
Okay. I wanted. Yes, I can hear you. I wanted to hear from.
Eu gostaria de
from the-
saber.
Are you able to hear me?
Será que podem me ouvir bem?
Okay. I wanted to hear from my counterpart who just presented. She talked of working on their food strategy. If she's able to remember maybe the thematic areas that they are working on, I would like to know the thematic areas. Okay, like the objectives, why are they working on a strategy document just to compare with what we have? Thank you.
So, Rose, our aim is to actually find a reason why we need to take what the people want and need. So, it's not only about what we can actually offer today, we are looking at the sustainability of that food that the community needs. So now we have to make sure that the law and the document that we are creating will not change when politics change. So we have really to think about this and have a clear definition and think about that the sustainability needs to be amplified and also how we can offer some kind of income for the families that are producing the foods. Obviously, we are also thinking about how this whole organization with a hub, the food hub, can be solidified and continued, and also to also give us the opportunity of sharing our food with others. So this proposal does suggest the security of the food, but also be careful that we have to think about the logistic geography that we have, because we have a port, but we have to also create that opportunity for agriculture that will generate income opportunities. So this is why we have that document in place. I don't know if I have answered your question, Rose. Give me a thumbs up.
Nice, yeah. I'm just glad because it's just talking about the foods that are available, the cultural one, and how to preserve it, how to make it continue even in the future. Yeah, and the acceptability. So thank you so much, Edson. Yeah. Uh, Thank you so much, Juliana. Let me start with the last question. Yeah, the multi-sectorial platform, the team there, the stakeholders, they are key in coming up with policies or any legal documents, because you find that each stakeholder, whichever people they are representing, there are based on the areas of food production, that is the social welfare, environmental, the schools, education, all of them. To some extent, even the religious groups would even be talking about some cultural values towards certain food. So you bring them all together in the policy making process so that everybody owns it. When you now go to launch it, or you want it to be passed maybe in the parliament, then everybody has gone through it, including even the political wing. So when we were developing all these, plus others, all those categories are there, the multi-sectorial team. Thank you. If you remember at one point when I was saying, for it to continue, those people needs to be involved from the beginning. And another question was on why we came up with the strategies, and I would like to start with the agri-nutrition strategy. One, our poverty level was not very nice. For Kenya, we had 36, and Kisumu, it was 16%. So that wasn't very nice. It was leading to stunting, which has now improved, because now we were able to convince the government, the political wing, about what happens when there is stunting among the children, the kind of children they will grow into, and even the mothers, if they have no food. Anemia was like nationally 42, and 83 for children aged 6 to 59 months. And we thought that was too much. The citizens or the people we are raising were not going to be healthy people who can also think upright. Yeah, so those were the key things. We were just looking at the nutrition, the way we produce food, the way we process it, and up to the table, who consumes it, how. Those are the reasons why we thought of having the two key strategies, that is touching all the departments, the government departments or sectors within the city. Thank you.
So I'm going now to open the floor. If anyone has a question for Rose, and also Edison, I want to say that something that really came very strongly across as important when you spoke about the it's got that international aspect of it, which is in the production of the food. And obviously, when we are thinking about the participation of the public resources, we know that this is part of the programs. We are talking now about hospitals, health in general, schools, and obviously, this will create credit for people that are involved. So now when we think about that, when we talk about food systems, the production of the foods, we are now giving back to community the opportunity of income. So um, how can we actually go ahead? Do the governments have any doubts about it? Do they see it well? Do they understand this? I would like you to speak a little bit more about these policies, please, Edson. Like I said before, our experience does start um, at the COVID time, and it was very strong. We could see that the street vendors, the children, they could not come to the streets, and obviously that there was a change in the way they would consume food, and that made um, schools and the what we could actually see is that that way of going to the market was forgotten for a short while. And obviously this affected the old people that used to go to the markets to buy fresh foods. And then we had to create what we call a program on how we could help agriculture come closer to the population. So when we create a system like that, we immediately start thinking, how is the farmer producing? How is the farmer selling? How are we creating recipes? How are we making that accessible? And how are we going to have um, this form of creating foods taken by the municipality? Because we had to think about how can we give return to the grower, and how could we actually also make the family get access to it. So we had to think deeply from the production, from the sowing, from the planting, from the harvesting, from the bringing the fresh foods produce to town. So in all this, we saw that it was difficult to bring actually resources. And my thinking was, I have to bring resources to the beginning of this process, because when we see how we can find solutions to bring that resource to the front line, this means that we are not going to do what we say the monitoring of agriculture, because that will be too expensive, because we have to send out technicians, technical people to actually work with the growers. So if we have now to think how we can get the resources our way, and how can we find a way to buy food to supplement what we've got in stock at home. We know already, if we speak to the families, to the groups, we know already they will say, hey, we need to buy this and we would like to get that. So we have to find a way of knowing what is needed, what is wanted, and we have to make a way of how we're going to make sure that the resources will meet this, and how we're going to when we think about the governing bodies that make the good use of the resources they get, and how they pass on that, We have to make a mathematical equation to how we would do this application, because we have every single grower in our system. We know how to get to them. We know how to use the social media. We know how to get the food onto our street vendors markets, and we do know how we can help the agricultural grower. So now the point is, how can we guarantee how we will keep this economical cycle going with nonstop? So now I would rather think not about the shortage, but how can I actually work on the sovereignty of food? And this is how I have had discussions over and over with our mayors and with our specialists that know what kind of income actually is available and how we can work out the maths on how the system can actually work. And this is like a magic that we have actually is worthwhile doing it, and it will be an economical growth for the agricultural sector. Thank you very much, Edson, for your contribution. And we have now to really finish in the next 7 minutes. And I am now going to ask for the ECLE Africa to start thanking all we've got here, and I know that all the conclusions we're getting to is common ground for everybody. And we have also the notions of the social participation, the financing, the power of purchase, and how we can enhance the strategy of developing the food systems and distribution, and how we can do all that. I want to thank everyone for this dialogue, and also I will ask now that my other colleagues can come and say their final words. So thank you very much, Juliana. I am going to thank everyone that has participated, the speakers, and all the other colleagues that have been involved in the organizing of this webinar. Please, ECLE Africa, please take the floor for the final remarks. Sine?
Am I coming through? Perfect. Thank you so much to everyone who was able to join the session today and participate. But more especially a big thank you to our speakers for today, Rose and Edson. I think it was really exciting to hear what's happening on the ground in Kisumu as well as in Barcarena. But most importantly, just hearing how cities are really now placing food and culture as well as public health in their agenda. I think today's session we were really reminded of the importance of celebrating and embracing food cultures, but also the importance of crisis preparedness and the value of building resilient and inclusive food systems. A big thank you also to ECLE, SAMS, and Lupa for co-hosting this great session. Thank you also to Rosie and Lillian, who was our interpreter for today. And once again, thank you all so much for joining the session. And goodbye. We will meet again next time.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you so much to the presenters. Thanks, Juliana. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Thank you.